Hey everyone, welcome back to another Rope for a Cue video. This is a Rope for a Cue video, your eyes are not deceiving you. I'm just out for a bit of a walk to the local shop. It's a beautiful warm day today. It's now like 8 in the evening but still pretty hot. So I'm going to walk to the local shop and get myself a nice cool fruity drink and maybe an ice lolly. So my wife is away all day on her work jolly, sure she's getting treated well, so I'm going to treat myself. Anyway, I needed to come out and test this new camera that I bought, which I'm holding now, which you'll hopefully see filming snooker fairly soon. I'm probably going to do a video specifically on what it's like to film snooker with this camera. But anyway, this video that I'm introducing now is a little bit of an old one. I've been working on it for quite some time, and to be honest with you, I did want to add a bit more to it, but kind of lost a bit of momentum with it, so I decided to just put it out as it is. And basically it's another one of my stories about how my practice routine has changed since I did my coaching session back in sort of October, November last year. I can't remember the exact dates. And this one is about how I've revamped my colours practice. You know, this channel was established by me doing colours clearance practices. So I decided to go a bit back to the channel's roots and have a bit more and give a bit more emphasis on colours clearances, and that's what this video is about. The video is going to start off with the coaching session, my coach talking about the routine and why it's useful, and showing me how to basically keep it interesting, which is not exactly something I didn't already know, but still useful to hear it. And then I'll hand over to myself in commentary, essentially looking at attempts I've had after that up until about April this year. Basically then I sort of ran out of footage showing you how I've been going on. So let's take a look at that now, and I'll come back at the end and say goodbye.
I thought we'd tackle what we said at the start, because you mentioned about the colours off their spots. Actually, the colours off their spots is a good warm-up routine, because even though it's 6 shots, there's 6 kind of cueing shots. You have to keep it in a small area, try not to lose right here, but then you're moving it and moving it and moving it and trying to land the correct side of the ball. So it isn't easy to do, but it is a good indicator of how well you're cueing the ball.
For a period, maybe like a month, I set myself, when I went for solo practice, I set myself I wouldn't start any other routine until I'd done at least one full colours clearance, but I was just struggling, so I was, I'd only done it a couple of times.
Well, I'll tell you a good way to do it, because you know, like when you go and you think, right, well, I've got an hour and I want to do a break builder and I want to test for straight cueing and I want to do, and your brain immediately goes, well, how long are you going to do that for? Because then I always think 10's a good amount. So in other words, I'm going to give you 10 attempts to pop the colours off their spots. If you clear them on the first one, we're going to keep going. Yeah. Because what you're trying to do is, how many attempts does it take me? Or, if you don't clear them, how far do I get within 10? Because the next time you go, if you go, oh, I didn't get past the blue. Well, if you get as far as the pink, then that's an improvement. And if you're the type that kind of documents their improvements, if you write notes, I'm imagining you do, it's a good thing to look back on, because you'll go down the club and go, right, if I had another 10, what am I trying to be? And then, if you clear it 1 out of 10, great. Because the next time you go, I've got 10 chances, I've got to try and clear it twice. And all the time, you're not spending hours doing it, because it won't take that long to do 10. You can start anywhere, but within 10 opportunities, so we'll give you 10 goes, let's see how far you can get through it. Don't worry if you miss balls, it really doesn't matter, we're just going to set a target for today. Relax into it, mate, when you're ready. So you got to the blue. The brown, actually, mate, you cued that really well. You just wanted to go a touch higher.
Right.
Your pace was perfect, but you were, for want of a better phrase, you were here, and you just wanted to go there.
Half a tip up.
Half a tip up would have made all the difference, particularly about there. But your cueing was really good because it came perfectly parallel from the ball. That's what created the spin. That was a visit from the twins, mate. Twitchy and Jabby there. Perfect. The key to how what you could have done. So, as far as the blue, attempt
It's always brown to blue. I mean, it's not always brown to blue, but
I know what you mean, yeah. That is a pretty key shot with this, to
it
be
is,
honest,
yeah,
mate.
it's I think when I first started out trying to do the gloves clearance, I wish I'd practiced that shot in isolation for a few sessions, but I wasn't getting to it enough to, like, just by starting from the early time, I wasn't getting to it consistently enough to get good at it. But then once I started practicing it just on its own, when I got to it, I knew what to do.
Lovely. Fine effort. Oh, it's a bit hard. However, you're on the pink, mate. One good shot. A bit too thick. Okay, attempt number. Okay, and finally, attempt number 10. Finish on a high, mate. Take your time. Oh, that's a bit too tin. Okay, mate, so you had 10 attempts, and the pink was your best shot.
Yeah.
You know, brown to blue is funny. If you land dead straight, it's not too bad. If you land somewhere here, it's not too bad. Slightly off straight and further away makes all the world of difference. You know, the dream is to just land here and just sort of stun it over and then roll, roll, roll. But
Yeah.
landing there is not always easy.
Before we go any further, if you like what you see in this video, please do give it a like by clicking the big fat thumbs up button at the bottom of the screen. And if you're new to Rope for a Cue, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help me out, gives me motivation to keep going with this channel, which to be fair has been lacking a little bit lately, but that's mainly due to the nice weather we've been having and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, back to the video. Okay, so this was the first attempt at the club after seeing my coach. So this was back in November last year. Had been to my coach, so a bit of confidence. I always get a bit of confidence afterwards. And what I decided to do was specifically, like what I talked about when I was with my coach, was specifically have a few goes at practicing brown to blue before I even started the colours clearance. So just to get that shot in my head a bit more used to it, ready for when I actually get there for real. So here we go to start with attempt 1. And yeah, that, I mean, long-term viewers of the channel will be used to me missing the first yellow. Thankfully I didn't miss 2 in a row. Just overcooked that one a little bit. But yeah, I had to use the rest, so not great. So I was obviously trying to put into practice everything that had been talked about in my coaching session. Wow, that went in. So the main things were trying to be a bit more parallel to the bed of the table, to try and keep my cue a bit more parallel to the table. Bit about my grip, trying to keep my grip firm but pliable, I guess. I don't know what the right term is, but yeah, not lifting my fingers off too much, and then working a bit on my paws. Well, I got the blue in, but landed betwixt and between, so decided to go for the double. I was pretty disappointed for it not to go in, because I did pretty well to get where I was on the black, so a bit disappointed to be fair. So I am counting this slightly different, or tracking this slightly differently to what we talked about my coach. There's 2 yellow missed in a row. That's not great at all. So, 3 in a row. Jesus Christ. Four in a row. It's getting in my head now. Might not even have time to tell you how I'm tracking it before the next. Oh, there we go. Finally get one in. Yeah, so he said to give yourself 10 attempts and do a best of 10 kind of thing. I decided not to do that. I decided to do it, essentially give myself as many attempts as I wanted, as I felt like on the day, but essentially only track the first 5. Only track the first 5 in terms of what my best number of pots were and how many clears there were in the first 5. But then if I do carry on, just to track when I get my first clear, if I do carry on beyond 5 attempts. So that's how I'm doing it, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. And that's what the graphic at the bottom shows. So the number of attempts can be anything, as long as it's over 5 basically. But the main thing is that I'm only bothered about, in terms of the number of pots for the first 5 and how many clears I get in the first 5. So in this first attempt I'm showing you every attempt I played. That's not going to be the case in future attempts. I'm just going to show you highlights. Oh, that's a shame. So that was the last attempt of that. So now we move on to the next session that I recorded. It's not necessarily the next session I did, because I have been practicing without recording a little bit, but this was the last one, the next one I recorded, and this was on, this was after everything happened at the beginning of this year, and I didn't, almost stop playing snooker completely. This was in early February, I think it was, so sort of 7th of February, I think. Yeah, just looking at the date, 7th of February this year. I just cannoned the blue there, but I think I've still left it in a potable position. Well, I overcut it and overcooked it as well. Oh well. So this was before I got my cue refurbished. I haven't actually tried tracking this, I think. I don't think I've tried this since I got my cue refurbished, because I haven't really practiced very much, in all honesty. Nearly fluked it. No, that was a shame. I don't know whether I should be practicing with the rest or not. I'm obviously not very good with it, but I'd rather spend the practice time I have on my normal cueing. Wow, that really did just about in. Very similar to the last one, where I moved the blue. Cannot emphasise enough how critical brown to blue is, and that's a shame, because I potted one like that not that long ago. Previous attempt, I think, or previous session. Yeah, brown to blue is the key shot. These are all fairly, yellow and green are all pretty rudimentary. That is a little better, a bit close to the cushion though. That's pretty much perfect. You just want to be slightly low on the pink, I reckon, for that kind of shot. It's much easier to judge. Okay, I'm a little lower on the black than I would have liked, but these are pots that you should be getting most of the time, but I don't get it. And I think I actually hang my cue up at that point. I was starting to worry that my joint was a bit rattly. It's one of the other reasons that inspired me to get my cue looked at. Anyway, on to the next attempt, and this one was from March, the 8th of March, so about a month later. Again, not necessarily the next time I practiced the colours, but the next time I had my camera there. So hopefully you can see I'm starting to get, this is the first attempt. This is not the first thing I do on these practice sessions. It's probably This is usually about sort of 45 minutes into my practice session. So I'm pretty warmed up, but I think you can see that I'm starting to get consistent with it. This is the first attempt. Genuinely the first attempt. And I get one in on the first attempt. So can I get another one in the first 5? Well, not with yellows like that, I won't. Or that. Not really sure why I put the cue ball there. I tend to favour the cue ball there where it is, sort of forming an equilateral triangle with the brown and the green. There we go. I've overcooked this slightly though. But I don't need the rest. It's a bit of a stretch. Oh, it nearly went in. I didn't hit it hard enough anyway. Okay, we go on to the next one. So that was all I showed on that one. And this one is from, again, this is the last attempt I'm going to show, and this was from the 13th of April. And I think this actually might be the last time I actually practice this. It goes to show what little practice I've been doing over the last couple of months, really. Need to change that. Again, this is the first attempt, and you can see that it just seems to be a little bit more consistent. And just stroking them in quite nicely there, I think. And I've left the setup on this to show you that, yes, you're right, I can get a back-to-back clearance. Colours clearance, that is, not obviously like a full clearance. That would be unbelievably awesome and probably will never happen in my snooker, well, I'm going to say career, but let's not beat about the bush. It's not really a career, is it? So yeah, nothing to just showing that it's no edit involved. This was as it was filmed. Obviously an edit there, but the balls didn't move, so. Yeah, that is a textbook brown to blue. It's okay, it could have done with it being a bit further in the cushion. I need to learn to play that shot with side so I can stay away from the cushion. And similarly, again, nice pot, but left this a little bit twitchy. You know, you wouldn't want this for a 147, would you? But in it goes. Yeah, so that's how I'm changing my colours clearance practice. And I think I'm just going to leave this running. This just shows that I didn't get any more this session. But I was pretty happy to get 2 back-to-back. And hopefully means that my colours clearances is going in the right direction. And hopefully when I pick it up again this week, when I start practicing again, I can get a couple more. Well, that's all I'm gonna show for now. I said that was up till about the mid-April, I think it was. Since then I've had a bit of lull in practice. I had my cue away for so long, getting refurbed, which you've seen, and if you haven't seen that video, please click the card and go back and watch it. It's been a really popular video for me, so thank you very much again for everybody who's watched that video already. And I've had a bit of an injury with my neck that meant I couldn't really play for a couple of weeks, so yeah, it's been, and then we've had this amazing weather, and to be honest with you, having been cooked up in my office all day, I haven't really felt like going down to the snooker club, which, you know, is a shame, but I also would not swap this weather for bad weather, because I'm sure we'll get some of it soon and I'll be back down at the snooker club. Anyway, that's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Next video will probably be in a couple of weeks' time. I'm probably not going to do weekly videos. I'm probably going to do, hopefully aim for about 2 weekly videos, but try and keep the quality up. But we'll see. Maybe what I'll do is, if once I get back to playing matches again, I'll do a match 1 week, a scripted video the next week, back to a match, that kind of arrangement. So, because matches don't really take a lot of thinking about in terms of editing, they just take a little bit of time. So thank you again for watching this video, and thank you again for supporting the channel, and I'll see you next time. They didn't have many individual ones left. Guess it's been such a hot day, so I had to get 3.